never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have it coming to me. You got that? All I have in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't break them for no one. You understand?
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I work for Kaiser Soze.
Tu me déçois énormément.
I work for Kaiser Soze.
Je suis colère, les enfants, je suis colère.
So welcome everyone to a very special episode of Admit One. I'm joined today by Frank from Vetcast, and today we're going to be talking about Die Hard and whether or not it is a Christmas movie. Frank, you want to say hello?
Hello.
Just before we get started, I want to make one thing very clear. I like Die Hard very much. I just don't think it's a Christmas movie. Frank, on the other hand, does. So in the sports world, we let the away team go first. So Frank, do you want to kick this off with some arguments?
Oh, I'm the away team. Okay. This is weird for me. I'm usually on the other side of this. I think I might have to reserve my right to go first. Because I feel like I'm defending Die Hard here. And usually in court, the prosecutor goes first. I know that all too well.
True.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I will say it is a Christmas movie. I watch it every year for Christmas, and I am looking forward to defending it.
You know, for me, at first, I was like, yeah, sweet, a Christmas action movie. But maybe it's the hipster in me, which I'm not a hipster. But once everyone was like, oh, Christmas movie, I was like, maybe not so much. It does take place at Christmas, for sure. I just don't know if it's a movie in respects to like Home Alone or Christmas Vacation or anything like that. To me, like if a movie is if you can take Christmas out of it and it still works as a movie, I'm not 100% sure that makes it a Christmas movie. Kind of like, I think I asked you this on Twitter. Is Harry Potter a Christmas movie? Batman Returns, Jaws 4, which I'll talk about actually on the next episode because this one's kind of booting Jaws back, so we'll talk about that later. But was it marketed as a Christmas movie?
It was marketed as it was a summer release movie, but all the previews talk about it taking place on Christmas Eve. But I'm very glad you brought up a specific point here. Home Alone. That's a Christmas movie.
True.
And if you take the Christmas out of it, it still works as a movie, as a family going on a regular vacation and leaving a kid home alone. Christmas has nothing to do with that movie either, except for it takes place during Christmas.
I agree, and I did think about that as well and thought, well, you could theoretically remove Christmas from any Christmas movie and it would probably still work. Unless you're talking about something like the Santa Claus or something like that, where he is Santa. So if you take him out of Santa, it maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And then we end up with Hop. That's what happens.
And what I thought was weird is it's not a Shane Black movie. I always thought it was, but it's not.
Nah, you're getting that confused with Lethal Weapon.
True.
Which, Lethal Weapon, I haven't seen it too recently, but I knew that one takes place at Christmas. But that was just a regular crime story. Die Hard, as a whole, it's a family movie as well as a Christmas movie. It's about a divorced dad, or they're not divorced, they're separated, but that's where their marriage is going. And he's trying to save his family for Christmas. And then terrorists take over the office Christmas party. And all he wants to do is bring his family together again. And that's what I think every Christmas movie is about. It's about family, and that's what Die Hard's about as well.
It's a good argument. What I thought was interesting, too, was they tried to kind of continue the Christmas theme in Die Hard 2, but after that, it just kind of does.
Well, even after, like, a lot of people don't realize is Die Hard 3 and 4 are also holiday-related movies. 4 takes place around the 4th of July. The third one takes place, I want to say, around Labor Day, around September area. So you can kind of shoehorn that one into as a holiday movie as well. And Die Hard 5, we just don't talk about.
I like Die Hard 5.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't say anything.
Did you just say you like... Oh. Oh, sweet Jesus.
I like the odd numbered Die Hards. 1, 3, and 5. 2 and 4...
See, I can give you Die Hard 2, because I always... Growing up, when it was just a trilogy, to me, that was always the weaker one. 4, I appreciate as that being like a new... Kind of like a reboot, like seeing him in modern day with technology. I appreciate that aspect of it.
See, to me, 4 and 5 are like... are not... They're Die Hard movies, but maybe it's a parallel universe, because they're kind of too big for John McClane.
Exactly. Like, 4 would have been really great if it wasn't for the jet fighter scene, but... This is about the first one, the Christmas one.
I'm just trying to distract you.
I know you're... Now, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I lived in kind of nowhere. I lived in Delaware. My family listened to country music, and I hate country music.
So do I.
But Die Hard introduced me to probably one of my favorite Christmas songs of all time. And that's Run DMC, Christmas in Hollis. Again, this has Christmas music, like a lot of Christmas musics, or Christmas movies with music in it.
True. And see, I think, and I may have expressed this before too, like it could have easily been like a big merger, and that's why everyone's having that party. And John McClane's coming home because it's one of the kids' birthdays or whatever. All
right, now hypothetically, if they went that route, then more than likely that entire office building wouldn't have been empty. Office buildings like that, the only time they would be empty would be Christmas and New Year's Eve. Other than that, every day of the week, it will be packed. So it had to be set for a Christmas party for them to be the only ones in the building, which the fact that they were the only ones in the building really makes me angry at the security guard at the very beginning when he makes McClane type in and find out his wife changed her last name. And then he goes, oh, well, they're the only ones in the building. Why didn't he just direct them to them when he walked in? Like, oh, you're here for the Christmas party, the only people in the building.
There's 7 people up there. Do you mind typing her name in just to make sure?
All that was I think that guard knew, like, oh, that's McClane. He doesn't know his wife changed her name. Let's kick him in the balls real quick.
He's abusing his power is what he's doing.
That's what it was. And all he wanted to do was watch a football game. Or did the terrorists bring the TV? Shit, I just watched this last night. I should know.
Let me ask you this, because I heard this from someone else. A Christmas movie, or any holiday movie rather, you'd feel weird watching it out of the holiday season. So you could watch Die Hard any time of year, because really it's like, it is, when you boil it down to everything, it's an action movie, whether it takes place at Christmas or not. I would feel weird watching the Santa Claus in March, but I wouldn't feel weird watching Die Hard in March either. So, what do you say to that?
I am the same way when it comes to like Christmas movies, except Die Hard. I can watch it every year, and that is because it is such a great movie. It transcends time. It's one of the greatest action movies of all time. So, of course, you can watch it anytime you want. To me, any movie that has snow in it, I always somehow associate with Christmas. And so in the summertime, it's hard to watch any movie with snow. But
So then The Revenant is a Christmas movie. That's interesting.
I have only watched The Revenant during Christmas time. Let's see. Another movie I can watch anytime, Alien vs. Predator.
That is a great movie.
And there's snow in that. It's in Antarctica.
That's true. That's very true.
And there's kind of snow in Die Hard.
When?
At the very end, all the bonds that are raining down, they're substituting snow.
It's like a metaphor for snow.
That's how I always took it, because it's Los Angeles. You can't have snow. So, to me, that was snow being represented for LA.
Fair enough. And you know, when it comes to like Die Hard representing Christmas for people, I guess, because I have like what I call rainy day movies. Whenever it's raining out, I like to put on Panic Room, for instance. I don't know why, but maybe that's what some people associate Die Hard with, is Christmas. Maybe not necessarily because it's a Christmas movie, but they associate it with the time of year, I guess.
And see, that's helping my point, actually.
See, I'm fair.
Another staple of this movie is when McClane gets to the building and they're up in her office, or actually they're in Ellis's office. They're fighting. That's like real Christmas, is when parents are fighting. And they're trying to keep it where the kids aren't around, but, you know, Nosy Reporter brings the kids into it, then that just escalates things worse. I don't know about you, but that's Christmas in my house.
Which, is Walter Peck always a dick?
I think so. I think he's been typecasted as that.
Hey, you're an asshole. Let's cast you.
He just has the face of an asshole.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think Die Hard is so popular as a Christmas movie and not, say, Batman Returns or Lethal Weapon or anything like that?
The reason why is those other movies don't really make Christmas a point. Here, it's literally a Christmas office party that gets side-railed by terrorists, or bank robbers, or more their title. But just gets side-railed from there, but it's Christmas. I mean, it even turned a classical piece of music into a song that has nothing to do with Christmas, but everyone associates Ode to Joy with Christmas time, do they not?
Yeah.
And that's all because of Die Hard. It created Christmas music.
So that's its legacy?
Oh, that movie is almost flawless. There's one flaw in that entire movie to me, and it always bugs me, and that's when he's on the roof trying to find Holly. And there's just a little bit too long of a pause when they say she's not up here, and he goes, well, where is she? I feel like they really need to do another take. But outside of that movie is perfect.
It is very good. I will say, you know, the first time I really remember watching it was maybe 10 years ago. Like, I'd seen it before, but never really registered anything. And it came in that Fox DVD 3-pack. Do you remember those big-ass DVD cases that were super thick for no reason?
Yeah, the collector's series.
Yeah. That was during my DVD boom and just buying everything, and I bought it then. That was really the first time I was able to kind of examine it for what it was. And it's actually pretty funny, too. When the FBI guys or whatever, they're in the helicopter. One of my favorite scenes in any movie is like, reminds you of Saigon, right? And he goes, I was in junior high, dickhead. It's one of my favorite scenes in any movie. So,
man, when I was in college, I would play Grand Theft Auto Vice City a lot for the Xbox. And me and my roommate, every time we're playing that, whenever we steal the military helicopter and we're flying through Vice City, we would always yell, whoever's flying would yell out, just like Saigon. Well, we say the full line, but I don't know if your language on the show.
You're censoring yourself?
Yeah, and that's weird for me. Because I know someone's going to comment, that's not how the line goes.
Oh, I always say things, and my brother will correct me right away. He's like a walking, talking quote machine.
But for me, Die Hard, the original trilogy, goes back deep with me. Because growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch R-rated movies. Just because that's how my mother was. And my dad, for a while, he was a long-haul trucker. And in summertime, I would ride with him. And he had a TV and a VCR in the back of the truck. And I was allowed to pretty much just watch whatever I want. And Die Hard on VHS was one of them. So during the summer, I got to, watch R-rated movies for a little bit. And that's actually what got me into film and video, was when I was in high school and I found out that they watch R-rated movies in this class.
Hell yeah.
So I signed up and had my parents sign the permission slip I didn't tell them that, they watch the movies as they are. And since then, I have...
edited, I swear.
See, they wouldn't think they'd be showing, like, R-rated movies. And I could talk forever about how I got into video and all that. But Die Hard, I have since... My dad owned them on VHS. Since then, I've owned them on VHS. I bought that big-ass DVD box set. I bought them on Blu-rays individually because I refused to buy Die Hard 4 on Blu-ray because it didn't have the R-rated version.
They don't?
Well, when you buy them individually, the unrated version of Die Hard is only PG-13 on Blu-ray.
Huh.
But last year, they released the Nakatomi box set with the big building.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes Die Hard 4 unrated in HD. And
interesting.
So I told a friend, like, wow, Die Hard is my Star Wars. I've owned it on every format. Because Star Wars I never owned on VHS. And
I'm actually staring at my Star Wars on VHS right now.
I own them on VHS now because I was at like this farmer's market type thing, and someone had the original trilogy box set untouched. So I was like, oh, I gotta buy that. And my kids have watched them.
Nice.
So I told my friend that I've owned practically every version of Die Hard on whatever format. And this year for my birthday, he surprised me and he got me the 3 originals on Laserdisc.
Of Star Wars or Die Hard?
Die Hard.
Oh, I have the original Laserdisc of Star Wars. They're framed and on my wall.
Yeah, I need to get frames for my Laserdisc, but I went, wow, now I literally have owned them on every format.
No kidding.
Because that's what you do with great Christmas movies, is you own it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Do you have any closing arguments for yourself?
My closing argument is this. Die Hard is one of those movies where you can watch it year-round because it has a perfect balance of action to where you can forget about Christmas. But at the heart of it, it is still a Christmas movie about family, bringing family together. I mean, even though they're estranged husband and wife, she's still the mother of his kids, and he risks it all just to keep his family whole. And I think that's an important message for Christmas time, for this time of year, because kids are separate, or parents are separated, so kids have like 2 Christmases kind of, but it still brings their family together. And if you remove the Christmas out of this movie, it wouldn't work because it just wouldn't make sense for them to be in that office building alone.
Is this your favorite Christmas movie or just your favorite action Christmas movie?
It is my favorite Christmas movie.
Okay.
Normally, I save to watch it until New Year's Eve, but you got me to watch it early. I'm still going to watch it on Christmas Eve. I think I said New Year's for some reason.
Oh, well, it's New Year's Eve is still technically December, so I think you're still good.
Yeah. Nah, I watch it Christmas Eve, I mean.
Well, for me, I've kind of laid out my arguments. It does take place at Christmas, and I don't know. You made some good points. I don't think I still would consider it a Christmas movie.
To me, if you consider Home Alone a Christmas movie, you have to consider this a Christmas movie. They're practically the same movie, except there's not too many traps. But essentially, it's the same thing. Bad guys in one building and one guy to take them down.
To be honest with you, the first time I heard someone use that argument, if you take Christmas out of it, the first thing that popped in my head was Home Alone. I was like, shit, you could take that out of there and it would still work. I'm like, that doesn't work for everything.
Yeah. You can't take Christmas out of Home Alone 2, though.
That's true.
Because then the park lady scene will be way too creepy.
Yeah, that is. You couldn't make Home Alone today either. Just send them a text message, let them know that you're coming back for them or whatever.
If Home Alone was made today, it would be completely different. The parents would immediately be arrested and Child Protective Services would be involved.
It's a drama instead of a comedy.
And if that didn't happen, the mom would immediately set up a GoFundMe account to try to get home. And it just wouldn't work. Like, I don't think kids today, if they watch Home Alone, they'd be like, how come cops just don't show up and knock on the door? Like, I really wanted to see the follow-up to Home Alone, to where there's the whole police investigation, that they didn't try harder to find him.
I'm sure there's a fan film out there somewhere of that.
Have you ever seen the Macaulay Culkin video where he is, I think, like an Uber driver
or whatever?
Oh, man. To me, that's the end of that trilogy. I don't care about anything that happened after 2, except for the Uber scene.
Well, that was following the police investigation.
They ruined that kid's life.
Well, is there anything else you want to add to this argument?
No, I think I laid out the groundwork pretty well.
I think you did too.
Have I been able to sway you into admitting it is a Christmas movie?
A little bit. I'm still not going to admit it, but you did make a good argument. That's the decision is up for the jury at this point. I thank you for coming on today. Is there anything you want to plug?
Not in particular. I got nothing. Just follow me on Twitter. I'm at Frank Kemp, the number 3. And just you can find my YouTube from there and everything else that I do online. And just sit down with your family, hug them, and watch Die Hard.
Cool. And that is a wrap.
Mr. Brown, that's a little too close to Mr. Shit. Are you the police?
No, man. We're musicians. I work for Kaiser Soze. I work for Kaiser Soze.
Where's the fucking money, shithead?